Once royal, now broke. It wasn't just a headline. It was a prophecy fulfilled. Not in gold, not in blood, but in silence. The kind of silence that arrives when even the palace has nothing more to say. Prince Harry, once cradled in Diana's arms, once held in Britain's hopes, is broke. Not metaphorically, not emotionally, but tangibly, publicly, legally. Gone are the whispers of temporary setbacks. Gone are the warm phrases like financial independence. What remains is cold and documented. The press caught it first, as they always do. A footnote in a report, a clause removed, a trust quietly missing. They didn't speculate. They didn't need to. Because when the crown goes quiet, it speaks louder than any statement. And then came the punches. Harry's fortune gone. Palace declines to comment. Diana's legacy redistributed. At a charity event that same week, Harry appeared. Tuxedo, smile, Meghan, all present. But something was absent. His eyes, not tired, not angry, just detached. The kind of gaze you wear when you realize the vault is empty and no one told you why. People say this was inevitable. You can't bite the hand that crowns you and expect the jewels to keep coming. But this isn't about money. It never was. It's about narrative. A prince turned exile, a husband turned brand, and somewhere in between, Harry lost the plot. Not in scandal, not in rage, but in erosion. A podcast deal collapses, a Spotify exec mocks him, a memoir hits shelves, then vanishes. The stage stayed, but the applause stopped. And the palace watched, not with fury, with distance. Because monarchy doesn't punish publicly, it disappears you. Meghan stayed beside him, still composed, still strategic, still silent. They gave the world a version of peace, but peace doesn't trend. Emptiness doesn't sell. So headlines rewrote their vows from love story to liability. Diana left him more than money. She left him myth, and myth that doesn't pay the bills, especially when it gets sold, repackaged, trademarked. Harry still has a title, but titles don't buy silence anymore. And in the court of public opinion, he no longer sits as a prince, but as a question. How did it all go so wrong, or worse? Was this always the plan? This is not a fall. It's a slow, deliberate evaporation, not televised, calculated. And when the camera pans away, the inheritance gone and the palace unmoved, Harry is left with only one thing, a story he no longer owns. It started in gray text. A footnote, Duke of Sussex's inheritance adjusted. Forgettable until it wasn't, until the tabloids swarmed, until royal correspondence ignited, until it metastasized. Prince Harry cut off inheritance gone, palace silent. And this time, no legal threats, no corrections, no insiders spinning a rebuttal, just silence. Because silence, when chosen, says everything. The British press doesn't pounce, it circles, waits. And when Harry bled, they feasted. The wedding photos returned, quotes rebranded as prophecy, accusations recycled. And Meghan silent, again, yet always at the headline. The palace centuries old and still effective. No comment on private matters. Which means yes, let the boy who left the castle learn what exile truly means. Across the Atlantic, they post matching tones. Windy beach, no caption. But the silence doesn't read as peace, it reads as retreat. A picture may be worth 1,000 words, but when you're bleeding, it's a white flag. Insiders began leaking emergency meetings. Charles had no choice. Translation, Harry is a liability. And liabilities in the royal playbook are erased. Soon the question wasn't, is this real, but who pulled the plug? Did Meghan redirect accounts? Did Harry sign it all away? Did the palace wait and strike? No one agreed, which meant it worked. Because confusion sells, controversy never dies. TikTok broke it down. Where did Diana's money go? Trust funds explained. Even Americans started asking, didn't he still have millions? Only one thing stayed steady, the palace. Not because they're clean, but because they didn't blink. They bury scandal, outlive it. Harry tweets, Harry reacts, Harry bleeds, which made him something worse than controversial consumable. Because once the crown walks away, the press doesn't just circle, it devours. And what it leaves behind is never what it took. This isn't new, it's a pattern. We liked the fairy tale, ignored the footnotes. Financial independence. It was brave, but it came with paperwork. Security costs, asset reshuffling, obligations that and gone. A new economy began. Harry brought the bloodline. Meghan brought the blueprint. Spotify deal $20 million, one season, then silence. They reappeared at summits and polo fields, but their voices grew quiet. Their brand grew loud, Netflix, trademarks, philanthropy LLC style. And Harry's name slowly vanished from the fine print. It wasn't theft, it was erosion. 1,000 paper cuts, each signed by Harry. Diana left an equal split, but equal in royalty was never identical. William inherited a crown, Harry inherited ambiguity. And ambiguity in the hands of love becomes liability, especially when love has an executive producer credit. Why didn't he see it? Because Harry saw through emotion, not contracts. When Meghan said, "I understand you," he heard safety, even if it came at a cost. Let's talk proximity. Serena, Oprah, Tyler. Close, then distant, then gone. The Meghan effect, it has a half-life. And Harry, he's feeling it now. Not scandal, stillness, then absence. Every orbit fades, until one day so do you. And now, with inheritance stripped, Harry begins to feel what others did years ago. The public thinks this is breaking news, but it's just the latest cycle. Shock, divide, dissect, distract. And next week, another story. But one truth stays. Harry didn't fall, he followed. A red carpet, a whisper, a plan. And we applauded until the lights dimmed. Now he's not the hero, maybe he never was. Maybe he was cast, directed, positioned, and the true protagonist writes the scenes. Meghan understands narrative, not emotionally, professionally, ruthlessly. Before royalty, she performed scripts. Now she writes them. And Harry fits perfectly. This wasn't accidental, it was architectural. She didn't stumble into monarchy, she studied it. Its weak points, its silences, its shadows. Then she offered a new monarchy built on traction, not tradition. Hashtags, press, data. Harry brought the crown, Meghan brought the camera, and she knows where to point it. So ask who holds the story. Who leaks just enough to light a fire but never holds the match? Not Harry, he reacts, she architects. Even now, as headlines echo, notice who stays silent. That silence isn't surrender, it's authorship. Because when the room burns, the one not coughing lit the fuse. Is it conspiracy or choreography? Every scandal arrives with just enough vagueness. Every denial strategic. And when the dust settles, Harry bleeds, Meghan pivots. This isn't a marriage, it's a media engine, fueled by reinvention. Harry thought he escaped the machine, he only changed brands, and now he might still believe he's leading. But the spotlight doesn't follow truth, it follows collapse. Framed, packaged, published. They say the stage is crumbling, maybe it was a trapdoor. And Harry already halfway through. So here we are, not at the beginning, not at the end, just in the fallout. A prince without a crown, a fortune gone, and silence from the palace that echoes louder than judgment. Harry is broke, in coin, in context, and the world once mourning, cheering, forgiving now watches. Clinical. And Meghan still curated, still composed, still not blinking. Maybe this was always the plan, not his, not hers, just destiny. The fairy tale ends with a crown, this one ends with a court file. No heirs, no titles, just hashtags, a rebellion that forgot its cause. But the questions remain. Did Harry know what he was giving up? Or did he think exile came with applause? Did he fall for love or a version of himself she sold him? Did Meghan save him or repackage him? Was this love's cost or the price of a plan? The palace won't answer. Neither will Meghan. Harry already did. He walked away. But the world isn't done asking. Because stories like this don't close. They echo. Your turn. Is Harry a victim of monarchy? Or of marriage? Was Meghan protecting him or positioning him? Would Diana speak or stay silent? Comment below, pick your side, because in this story there are no neutral characters. For your team Meghan, your team monarchy, team Diana, your team nobody, your move, we're watching.